How are you, grade 9? I hope you are fine. Today we are going to complete our lessons for the fourth quarter. Today's lesson in chapter 9, lesson 9.8, completing the square. Last session we took how to solve a quadratic function if it has a perfect square or by using the square root. If you remember what we said before, that if I have x power 2 equals 9, how can I find the value of x or the solution of this equation? I'm going to make square root here and plus or minus, don't forget the square root here, okay? Plus or minus the square root here. So plus or minus square root of 9. Okay, very good. So x equals plus or minus 3. So the x here has two values. One is positive 3 and the other is negative 3. Okay, today we're going to have let's see here, we're going to use completing the square because we said that it's so easy way to get the square root. Getting the square root is so easy way to solve the equation. So let's see here, when a trinomial is a perfect square, there is a relationship between the coefficient of the x term and the constant term. What's the x term? Remember together the standard form of the trinomial? It's what? A x power 2 plus b x plus c equals 0. So a here is the coefficient of x power 2. And b here is the coefficient of x, and c here is the constant term. So I have a relation between the constant term, which is c, and the coefficient of the x, which is b. Here, if I get half of the coefficient of the x and power it by 2, it will give me the constant term. Again, I will take the coefficient of the x, 6, okay? So I'm going to divide it by 2. So it will give me what? It will give me 3. Then power it by 2, it will give you 9. Power it by 2, it will give me 9, which is what? The constant term. The constant term, okay? So if I have an expression x power 2 plus bx is not perfect square, however, you can use the relation shown above to add a term to x power 2 plus bx to form a trinomial that is perfect square. This is called completing square. So if I have x power 2 plus bx and I don't have c, what I'm going to do? I'm going to add c, okay, in a side, and then the other side I'm going to subtract it. How we're going to do this? Let's see these examples to understand what I'm going to what I'm saying for you here. Here, the complete of the square here, if you have b, what I'm going to do with the b? I'm going to get its half. Its half I can make it by dividing by 2 or times by half, okay? So I can write b over 2 to the power of 2, or b times 2 times half all power 2. Okay? Again, b over 2 all power 2, I can write it with b times half all power 2. So I can write it like this or like this part. Okay? Very good. So if he give me example like this, and it's so important, you will find it in your quiz. x power 2 plus 6x plus c. I need the c. How to get the c? Half coefficient of the x and power it by 2. So I'm going to half 6 over 2 and power it by 2. So it will give me 9. Now, after I make it, so I make this a perfect square trinomial. What lead me this? It leads me to perfect square trinomial. So I can make this as x plus 3 all power 2. Factorize it as a bracket power 2. X plus 3 all power 2. Okay? Or x plus b over 2 all power 2. Okay? Let's see this example. X power 2 equal 10x plus, I need the c. Complete the square to form perfect square trinomial. So my b is what? 10. So I'm going to take the 10 and half it. Then square it or power it 2. 10 divide 2 all power 2. 10 divide 2 is 5. 5 power 2 is 25. Very good. So my equation is x power 2 plus 10x plus 25. And I can have from here, can you factorize it? It's so easy, miss. We are going to get the square root of this one here and the square root of this one. X plus 5 all power 2. It's that easy. Okay? Let's see the other one here. Sorry. X power 2 plus 9, negative 9x plus, I don't know. So what's my b here? My b is negative 9. Negative 9 is the b. So negative 9 divide 2, I'm going to get half of the b. Negative 9 divide 2 and power it by 2. Negative 9 over 2, so it will be 81. Okay, negative 9 power 2, 81. And 2 power 2 is 4. So 81 over 4. And this is the perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial. Okay? So how can I get the factorizing brackets? I'm going to get the square root here and the square root a here. So it will be what? X. Take care if I have minus, so I'm going to put minus here. Okay? Minus square root of 81 over 4. What's square root of 81? It's 9. What is the square root of 4? It's 2. Okay? So it's 9 over 2. X minus 9 over 2 all power 2. And this form, I can put it in another form. Do you know how? I'm going to take this 2 and times it by x. So it will be 2x minus 9 all power 2. Okay? 2x minus 9 all power 2. The number here which is down in the denominator, I will take it up times by the x. Okay? Very good. Let's complete. Here, if I want the third term. But what if I have a whole equation like this? X power 2 plus bx equals c. But it's not a perfect square. And I need to change this form into perfect square. We took if the c is 0 or the constant term is 0, and we said how to do it by this rule. Okay? So if the c is 0, I don't know the c. I'm going to do what? I'm going to take the b and half it and get it power 2. So if I don't have a c, if I have a c, okay? How can I do it? We're going to write the equation in the form of x power 2 plus bx equals c. Okay? Then we're going to find b over 2 all power 2. Okay? Then complete the square by adding b over 2 power 2 to both sides. Factorize the perfect square trinomial and take the square root of both sides. And of course, don't forget using both positive and negative for the square root. How to do it? Let's take example to know how to do these steps. Take care, you must study these steps very carefully, okay? And remember them, because we're going to use these steps to solve the problems from now on. Here, x power 2 plus bx equals c by completing the square. Here, where is my b? My b is 14. Very good. Where is my c? It's 15. Very good. Here, what is the first step? I'm going to put it in the form of x power 2 plus bx equals c. And it's already in the form. So, it's already in the form. I didn't change anything. Then, I'm going to take the b, which is 14, and I half it, then square it. Half, then square. Half, then square. So, 14 divide 2, I half it. It became 7. Power 2, it became 49. Very good. What after? I'm going to add this part to the both sides. To the both sides. Very good. Now, this part, this side, is what? A perfect square trinomial. How to get the perfect square trinomial in a bracket? I'm going to get the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term. And I'm going to put the sign of the middle term. So, square root of x power 2 is x. Square root of 49 is 7. And the sign of the middle is positive, so put here positive. And of course, all of this to the power of 2 because it's what? Perfect square trinomial. Very good. What about the other side? Just make addition. 15 plus 49 is what? 64. Very good. How can I solve this? I'm going to take the square root here and the square root here. You're going to tell me, Miss, but it's not x power 2. It's x plus 7 all power 2. It's okay. X power 7 all power 2. Oh, it's okay. You can fly the power 2 with the root. So you are going to have x power 7. Okay? And don't forget here, to the other side, it will be a. Don't forget, I forget. The plus and minus. Okay? If I have a power 2, and I'm going to make square root, don't forget the plus and minus. Very good. So, x plus 7 equals plus or minus 8. How can I solve this, Miss? I have two values. Don't worry. Just divide your paper into two parts and solve the equation once with positive and the other one with negative. So, x plus 7 equals 8 and solve it. X plus 7 equals negative 8 and solve it to get the x. Positive 7 will go to the other side with negative, so x equals 1. Positive 7 will go to the other side with the negative here, so x equals negative 15. So my solution is 1 and negative 15. Of course, I can check how? By substituting by the x, by the values here in the x in the equation. Then I will find that the right hand side here equal the left hand side here. Okay? Again, we're going to make it again. Okay? Here again. First, I'm going to solve using complete square. How I'm going to do it? I'm going to put it in the form of x power 2 plus x plus bx equals c. Then I'm going to find the value of b over 2 all power 2. What's b over 2? The half of the coefficient of the x. Half the coefficient of the x power 2 and add it in both sides. This is my equation. Put here plus 49 and here plus 49. What I'm having here? I'm having perfect square trinomial. How to make it? I'm going to make a bracket power 2. What I'm going to put in the bracket power 2? The square root of the first term and the square root of the third term. Okay? And what about the sign in the middle? It will be the same sign of the middle here. Okay? And here, you're going to make just plus. Then if I want to get the square root, what I'm going to do, don't forget to put plus or minus. Okay? and the square root here will fly with the power 2. So I have only here x plus 7. Very good. Plus or minus 8. How can I solve it? I'm going to divide my paper into 2 parts and solve it 2 times. One with positive 8 and the other one with negative 8. So I have 2 values for the x equals 1 and x equals negative 15. Then I can check. How can I check? I'm going to take the values here of the solution and substitute it in the equation. Then I will find that the left hand side equals the right hand side. Okay? Okay. This for now. We're going to complete our lesson next session and we're going to solve more exercises. Thank you very much, grade